Hi guys. Thousands of Indian students are spending 1 or 2 extra years for a master's degree that employers don't really care much about. It is not that they're making bad decisions, it's just that colleges have convinced them that having more degree automatically means a better career or higher salary. It is not usually the case. I'm not against master's degree, I've done it myself. I'm just not in the favor of doing them too early in your career. Now imagine a scenario, two engineering graduates, very common scenario in India. Both of them are 24-year-old. One of them has a bachelor's degree plus 2 years of work experience, and another one has a bachelor's and master's degree with no work experience. Which one, as an employer, you think would be preferred? If you think that the one with a master's degree would be preferred in most cases, then you're not correct, because that's not how the employers think. In this video, I want to explain you why I think the students should not do a master's degree before the age of 24 and 25, and why waiting for a master's degree can actually make this degree far more valuable for them. In the last 10 years, I have worked in various industries across various locations in the world. And one thing I've repeatedly noticed that employers care much more about what you can do, what are your abilities, a skill set, what you are capable of getting done, rather than just looking at degrees. So first, we need to understand, why does a master degree even exist? I mean, the initial idea of the master degree was, you start with a school, you go to bachelor's, then finish your bachelor's, you graduated, then you do some work. Then during the work, you discover what kind of field really interests you, you know. And then you move to then you try to pursue a master's in the domain that you really liked in the work, and then you become an expert, which makes perfect sense. But right now, things are not working like this. Now, my question is, why are the 20 or 21-year-old or 19 years old at the starting age of the graduation are being asked to choose a master already? I mean, just imagine what kind of thought process they can have in making that decision. Usually in India, when children are making that kind of decision with doing, like, integrated masters, or this combined admission, bachelor, BTech plus MTech, or BTech MBA, whatever you want to do in masters, you are like almost 19, 20-year old, and then you are already choosing your specialization without any work experience, without any operational execution experience, without like a single day in office, like how a company works, what employers look for. You are making such a big decision completely blindly. And then you have tons of buzzword to choose from if you want to specialize in AI, robotics, like data science, like finance, cloud. And my question is, how can you choose a specialization if you have never been in a position even for a day? I mean, it's good for colleges to sell you these degrees because then you are their customer for 4, 5, 6 years. But just think of yourself, like, do you really want to do a master's degree without having any information on the domain? The initial idea of the bachelor's was like, you try to keep the bachelor's a bit more generic. So you have a broad domain of the field to work on after graduation. And then from one of those domain, you choose a specialization. And that's how you become a specialist. Now, let me try to explain you the work first advantage, which means that why you should always work for some time before choosing a master's. Most people think that it's only about maybe salary, but it's not the case. Or the position. 1 or 2 years of work after the bachelor's teaches you a lot of things. So what you are good at, it tells you what you really don't enjoy doing. It tells you can also have, working in the field, you can also have an idea of the future of that industry. Like, you can see if you're working in, for example, renewable energy. You should see like what future opportunities lies when you talk to people on a similar domain actually working in the field. You can also discover which domains of a particular field pays the most if you're thinking about the financial upside of it, and what are the problems that really excite you to solve. And then once you do like at least 1 or 2 years of work, then you get answers to a lot of questions, like, what I really enjoy working on, what would be something that I would not be bored working in the next 10, 15, 20 years, what has a much more large, a broader horizon than the current, in the given current market situation. You also discover things like, oh, I don't enjoy tech too much, I enjoy talking to customers. And then you can think of what kind of a specialization can lead you to that kind of role. You can also enjoy maybe some kind of role in operations, in management. So just don't bind yourself at the age of 19 or 20 year. to choose a master forcefully just because somebody is selling you a good deal, integrated masters or combined masters, whatever we tell it. Just go for like a simple bachelor's now. To give you an example, let's say a student A decides to do a bachelor's in computer science. And then after 4 years of engineering, he goes into a job and then he discovers that actually he enjoys more the cloud computing, the DevOps operation, that side. Now imagine if this guy will already have a master's in AI, he's now stuck in life. I mean, he has just wasted the time and money. Plus, if he's interested in working in cloud and he wants to now specialize in cloud, he need to do another master. So once you discover that what you really want to pursue as a specialist, then your master's degree has a value. And trust me, you need a very good purpose to do a good master and take the maximum out of it in your career. Another example would be like, let's say people say like, core field. Somebody does an engineering in mechanical, and then later on they discover that they really like working on, for example, the renewable energy side of mechanical engineering. And now imagine this guy doesn't have a master's, so he now knows that okay, if I really enjoy this part and it has a good future, let's try to do a master's which makes me more expert on the renewable side. So now your master has a good direction. One of the myths that people might have is that employers automatically pay extra for an extra degree, which is very, very incorrect. Your skills and capabilities determine how much you are going to be paid. So as a fresh graduate, the most important skills that employers look at you into you is like your qualification, of course, but your communication skill, your problem solving skill, how can you fit into the team, the culture fit, and those kind of things. Nobody expects you to really be like an expert on something as a fresh graduate. So the extra degree alone doesn't outweigh the real experience that you will get working hands on. There is another very positive side of waiting for a master's degree and working for 1 or 2 years in between after bachelor's is that it makes you really competitive for a master's admission in like prestigious institutes. So imagine they get 1,000 application for 50 seats. Now, on what basis they decide? So most of the people go there directly, like as a master, as a bachelor, fresh graduate with no experience. Now you can already outweigh that competition with having some kind of practical work experience. That's like one of the big advantage. And also, once you graduate, after, let's say you do a bachelor's and then you do 2 years of work and then you do a master's. First of all, you did a really meaningful master that you really planned and carefully thought about. Now you come out into the job market again and compare the scenario. You are competing for a job with people who have 2 degrees with no work experience, whereas you have 2 degrees but 2 years, 1 year of work experience. So you have, of course, much higher chances of getting employed by a company than people with no experience and a master's degree. Also, if you look at the financial side, let's say you graduated at 22 and you started working immediately. So even if you go for like a low level package of a fresh engineering graduate or similar in India, let's say like 4 lakhs, 4 to 5 lakhs of package is like an average median. So let's say you work for 2 years, you just not got the work experience and like the actual knowledge of the domain and operation and execution. You also made like 8 to 10 lakh rupees in that time, which you can use for your masters or to pay back your loans if you are on an education loan for the bachelor. Also, just to add to the admission part of the masters, in good institute they receive thousands of application for master, and the selection committee always look for candidates who have a very clear vision why they want to do a master's. And then, I mean, there are also some exceptions. For example, it's not always bad to do a master's together. Maybe like in many cases, like medical science, if you know that you want to be an eye surgeon or you want to be a cardio surgeon, then you know that you need a specialization in it. So then it's not something that you should wait or something, but there are some exceptions, and medical science is one of the exceptions. But in most of the cases, you should not think about doing an integrated or combined masters without having any work experience. Otherwise, you will not be able to tap the full value of the masters for the time and the money you have put in it. Thank you very much for watching this video till the end. If you really like it, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel.